Merriam-Webster defines bullshit as usually vulgar nonsense, especially foolish, insolent talk. Yeah, there's an awful lot of foolishness going out there in the NFL right now. Bring it on in. It's week 13, but nobody cares about that. What I really care about here is it's my favorite week of the entire show. It's a week where we ask you people, the people, my people, which team's bullshit are you absolutely sick of? And let's buckle up, because I'm going to be honest, we got some real clunkers out there. There's a lot of teams that we need to give the business here this week. We must start here with the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, come on. Pete Carroll, yeah, you're so upset. We can't establish the run. We get it. I am so sick and tired of this era of the Seahawks, and frankly, I think Russell Wilson looks a little tired of this era of the Seahawks as well. I mean, give me a break. You got Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. That's objectively one of the best wide receiver duos in the entire NFL. Meanwhile, you're still trying to play this old school football style. It's like Pete Carroll trying to coach that defense that he had a freaking decade ago. It's enough already. This version of the Seahawks, it's ready for a breakup. Okay, Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson, it's time for a split one way or another. Let's stay in the NFC West here. We got Kyle Shanahan. Listen, Ben, I understand what you're saying. The 49ers were extremely frustrating to start the season, right? There was the Trey Sermon thing, the Brandon Ayuk thing, but let's focus on Brandon Ayuk for a second. Let's try to stay positive here. This guy is 11th in the NFL among wide receivers in yards since week 8. He's been balling. He's been blocking his ass off too, by the way. All those mind games that Kyle Shanahan tried to play earlier in the year, it kind of paid off for Brandon Ayuk. And running back rotation, I mean, there hasn't been a running back rotation. Whenever Elijah Mitchell has been healthy, he's been the guy. So I don't really think we should be sick of the 49ers BS. Yes, it was frustrating, but I think we forgive, forget, and move on and embrace this version of the 49ers. Now, a team I'm not embracing, I think they find their way into this segment every single year. We are totally sick of the Steelers BS. I know that Le'Veon Bell doesn't play for the Steelers anymore, but is that gif not the perfect reaction to what it feels like watching the Steelers here in 2021? We used to be sick of them because of guys like Lev Bell and Antonio Brown and all the drama that was always around the team. And Ben Roethlisberger like, I'm hurt. Oh no, I'm hurt again. Who could have seen this coming? But now we're sick of it because Ben Roethlisberger, we're just tired of him, all right? Like, it's enough with Ben Roethlisberger already. The guy can't play. He's cooked. It looks like he's done. And the problem here is Deontay Johnson is a star wide receiver. Chase Claypool could be a really dangerous big play threat. Najee Harris, really talented running back. Even Pat Freiermuth is having a good season as a rookie tight end, but Ben Roethlisberger is just dragging the ceiling down for all of these guys. So they are a very frustrating team. I am totally sick of their BS. I'm ready for the new era of Pittsburgh Steelers football so these guys can shine. Now this one here, Washington football team, I understand where you're coming from, Corey. I can clearly see that you're just frustrated because J.D. McKissic keeps vulturing some touches in the scoring area. You obviously watched that game against the Seahawks on Monday night and saw him take those 2 touchdowns despite the fact that Antonio Gibson was absolutely balling out. But I'm going to let the Washington football team off the hook here a little bit. I mean, look at this team. We expected this to be like Ryan Fitzpatrick throwing bombs to Terry McLaurin, dicing up with all of these talented skill position players. But, man, it is like Terry McLaurin and the preseason boys out there all year. I mean, Curtis Samuel has barely played. He's been hurt all year. Logan Thomas, the pride of Lynchburg, Virginia, was on IR for a long stretch. Antonio Gibson himself has been banged up all year. And, I mean, like, we got Taylor Heineke, and I love Taylor Heineke, ODU's finest, Taylor Heineke, but, like, this team is not at all what we thought coming into the year, so I'm going to be willing to let them off the hook, being willing to embrace this version of the Washington football team, which, frankly, they've been much more entertaining than some of these other dustball offenses out there, so I'm certainly not going to direct too much anger at the Washington football team. Frankly, I think there's been a lot of fun players to watch this year. I'm enjoying this team overall. I'm not sick of their BS. Now it's time for my favorite part of the segment. It's when we talk about the worst tweet of the week, the worst response that we got, and it was clearly, absolutely, 100% this one right here. I mean, you're sick of running back committees? Any team with running back committees, that's the BS that you're sick of? Hey, buddy, wake up. Almost every team employs some kind of running back committee. I mean, it's this version of the NFL. What, have you not been playing fantasy football for like the past 5 to 10 years? This is the way it happens. If you're still looking for those old like LaDainian Tomlinson days when he was the only guy touching the ball, wake up, get a grip, come back to this reality. That like never happens anymore. Look at Jonathan Taylor. The guy's the best back in fantasy, and even Nyheim Hines is involved a little bit. So if this is what's stressing you out, you're wasting your emotional energy. Just let this one go and focus on things that are actually annoying, like the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that is where I'm going to leave you today. It's time to live in the moment, okay? There's a lot of these teams that we need to push out of our mind. There's a lot of fantasy players that it's time to just give up on and focus on what really matters, and that's stacking your team with upside, being aggressive with your moves as you head to the fantasy championship. It's almost playoff time, people. Time to get serious. Let's move forward.